So thank you guys for all joining evening. It's lovely to see you all today. We're going to be talking is living your best life. And we all want to live our best life, don't we? And we want to be happy and healthy and full of energy. But this isn't the reality that most of us face, or we may face it in moments, but it's not consistent. So what we're going to look at is the key things that are blocking us from that and solutions on how we can get around those things and things that we can do. So if you want to type up any of the things that you feel are blocking you from really living the life that you want to live, living your best life. So if you want to type them in now, you can. But for me, I think the key areas that pop up with most of the clients that I see are stress, low immune system, pain in the body, and lack of energy. Those are kind of some of the key areas that I feel really block people. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. Someone said being a perfectionist. Yeah, that's definitely a tricky one, being a perfectionist, because that really does block us from living that perfect life, because we're always being hard on ourselves. And that is a tricky one, and we will look at things within all these different areas. If there's anything else you can think of and you want to add, then please feel free to type those things in as well. So when we're looking, as I said, about what these key areas are, what we want to look at is solutions. So I've worked long and hard in my life to come up with strategies to support me so that isn't my reality. And yes, from moment to moment, those things creep up and they do become my reality. But I've got a toolkit now that really enables me to not be living in that way. I'm not living with that as my reality the majority of the time. And one of the things that I really like to view is that the body is really... Symptoms are like a signpost. It's the body's way of saying something's wrong, something's off, something's out of balance. So it's giving you the ability to come back on track, to come back in line. And I think that's a great thing to be able to do, to come back in line, back to where we want to be. So it's really looking at constantly bringing ourselves back to that center, bringing ourselves back to that moment. And I'll be sharing with you today some of the ways that I do that. And what's really important, and this is something that's so key, is that we feel into our own body, that we all become conscious of our own bodies and what works for us. There is no one shoe fits all, and this is a really important thing. I can give you suggestions and pointers, but we are all unique beings. So there may be similarities, but one thing isn't going to fit everyone. And that's what I really do a lot of in my mentorship, is trying to get people to tune back into their bodies so they can take that ownership and that responsibility, so they can start to read the signs of their body more clearly. And don't get me wrong, it's not something that's an overnight solution. So you won't suddenly go, oh, I know all the signs in my body, but it's learning, it's understanding. It's like creating a new language that we haven't been taught, because we're not taught as children how to read these signs of what our body is actually telling us. So that's what I do a lot of on my mentorship, really guide people into what the body is telling us and how to read those signs so that you can create that toolkit to give you those answers that you need. So we're going to look today at my top suggestions. Now, one of the things that's really important to bear in mind is if you're on any form of medication, always contact a healthcare practitioner before you start taking any supplements, because there might be contraindications. So it's really good that you always check that you're not taking something you shouldn't be. So if anyone is on any medication afterwards and they want to send me a message, then I can always cross-reference those things for you. The other thing is there's a great website called WebMed, and you can look up, type in pills or supplements and cross-reference it and see if there are any contraindications on there. So that's a really important thing to bear in mind. So the first thing that we're going to look at is stress. I think this is something that affects, well, I know it's something that affects so many people. And stress is something that will rear its head from time to time. You may not be in a stress state all the time, but stress comes in and out, doesn't it? It ebbs and flows with the goings on of life. To be able to have a toolkit to turn to whenever that stress comes up is a really important thing to be able to support where you're at. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So how can we reduce stress? And if you want to put up anything, any of your ways that you reduce stress, then please feel free to. Let me just let someone in. There we go. So with stress, one of the best solutions with stress is breathing. Breathing can change your state very quickly from a stress state into a more calm and relaxed state. It's been shown that by doing a 3-4-5 breath, so you breathe in for 3, you breathe out for 4, you breathe in for 3, you hold for 4, and you breathe out for 5, actually switches your nervous system out of fight or flight into a relaxed state. So doing this for a minute or so is a great way that you can switch out of that stress state into a more calm and peaceful state of being. So this is a really simple tool that we can all do at any moment. It doesn't require any external thing, doesn't require you to be able to take any supplements or to change your situation or your surroundings. It's all in control within your body. And that's why the breath is such an amazing thing, because it's part of your inbuilt toolkit. It's your inbuilt defense system to really allow you to change the state that you're in. So we're going to do that for a minute. We're just going to breathe, and we're only going to do 3 breaths, but we're going to breathe together. We're going to breathe in for 3, we're going to hold for 4, and breathe out for 5. Now, if this feels too strained for you, you can always do 2-3-4 or 4-3-5. Doesn't really matter. It's as long as the in breath is shorter than the out breath. And the reason for this is, if you think about it in life, when you get tense and scared, what happens is your breath gets really short and shallow, and you shut off the bottom third of your lungs, and your breathing just becomes up here. Like that. That's a panic breath, isn't it? Oh my gosh, what's happening? So it's this panic. Now, the opposite of when you're really relaxed. You have that long exhale, that, everything's fine. So even in our kind of stereotypes of stress and relaxed, we have the breath as part of that. So that's why the 3-4-5 breath is a really wonderful tool to enable us to switch, as I said, out of fight or flight into a calm state. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to breathe in for 3, hold for 4, and breathe out for 5. And we're going to do 3 rounds of this. I'll talk you through it so that you know what you're doing. So if you just want to sit comfortably, ideally with your feet on the floor. If you want to shut your eyes, you can. You don't have to. And just for a minute before you go into that breath, I just want you to become aware of your body. Become aware of your state of being. And just tune into how you feel in this moment. Is there tension in your body? And just take that time to scan your body for a moment. Just noticing where you're holding tension, noticing your thoughts, noticing your being. And then in a moment, we're going to begin the breath 3-4-5. Breathing in for 3, holding for 4, and breathing out for 5. And as I said, if this feels tense or hard for you to do 2-3-4. That's fine. So I want you now to bring your awareness to your in-breath, and we're going to begin by breathing in for 3. Breathing in, and then holding. And then breathing out for 5. Breathing in again for 3. Holding for 4. And breathing out for 5. And one more round. Breathing in. Holding. And breathing out. And then taking a moment to just re-check into your body. How does your body feel now? Do you feel any different? Just becoming aware of your body, of your being, and noticing if there's any difference in how you feel. And if anyone wants to make any comments in the chat box, please feel free to. For those of you who just joined, we just did a 3-4-5 breath, a way to reduce stress and come out of a state of fight or flight. So for those of you who did that, if you just type in the chat box, how did you find that? Did you notice any difference? For me, that's a really quick way to switch my being into that state of calm. Someone just said instantly calm. It's amazing, isn't it, how quick that can work? So you think about the next time that you feel stressed and anxious and overwrought, just doing that, 3 breaths. So for most of you, it's brought you to either instantly calm or a little bit more calm. So that's great. And that was only 3 breaths. So it's a very, very quick way. And as I said before, it doesn't require any tools. It doesn't require any external thing for you to be able to utilize that, which is such a powerful thing, that we have this ability within our body to de-stress ourselves, to switch out of fight or flight and calm ourselves down with 3 breaths. And that's an amazing thing. And obviously for those of you quite stressed, you might need to do it for a few minutes, but having that ability through the breath to do that is very powerful. So I know a few of you just joined, so I'll just quickly recap. What we're going to look at today are really the key areas that are blocking us from living our best life, living that happy, healthy life. And I asked the people that were on in the beginning what the things are that they feel are blocking them. A few of the things that I find from most people that come to me are stress, low immune systems, so getting sick on a regular basis, pain in the body, lack of energy. These are a few of the things that come up a lot for people in things that are really blocking them from living their best life. So if anyone else has anything they'd like to add, please do type it into box. So the first thing, as I said, we were looking at is stress. And the first tool is the breath, 3-4-5 breath to reduce stress. Other things that can reduce stress are obviously walking, getting out. This is an amazing thing to do, to get out in nature. It can really reset your state of mind. The negative ions in nature counter the positive ions that are around computers and electrical equipments. And positive ions make us feel stressed and angry. Negative ions make us feel calm and relaxed. So nature has these negative ions all around. And you can get things that bring negative ions into your house. So for example, Himalayan rock salt lamps or candles, those are brilliant things to bring negative ions into your house. So that's another way that you can do it without having to get out in nature. But ultimately, getting out into nature is a great thing. Exercise is wonderful for reducing stress in the body. It helps to release cortisol in the body, and it helps to release endorphins to make us feel good. So exercise, even if it's gentle exercise, it doesn't have to be going and pumping weights. You know, walking is exercise, or doing a little bit of yoga. That can be really calming and soothing to reduce stress in the body. But having some kind of routine where you physically move your body, because it's been shown that by physically moving our body, we can actually help to release toxins, to support our body to work better, to remove the stress from our system. So this is another great thing. Meditation, obviously, is a great way to release stress as well. And then there are lots of amazing foods that we can turn to reduce stress. So we're going to talk about a few of those, a few of my favorite ones. As I said, everyone is different. We're all individual. So these are my favorite things and things I have found work very well for the clients that I see. But what's really important is that you tune into your body and you see what feels right for you. Or you contact someone like myself for a one-to-one, or to join my mentorship program and really learn these things in a deeper way. Okay, so super herbs reduce cortisol in the body. My favorite, dun, 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 reishi mushroom. This is English reishi mushroom. This is known as an artist bracket, because when they're on trees, this part is white underneath and you can draw on it. And it used to be known as an artist bracket for that reason, because it was like a blank canvas that you could draw on. This is, as I said, an English reishi. A lot of the research has been done on red reishi, which is a Chinese reishi. It does also grow in this country. But what they found is that the properties of the Ganoderma, the artist bracket, are very amazing thing. So using reishi has been shown to be very good to reduce stress. It supports the adrenals, so it feeds them. So it helps you to feel energized. We'll also reishi in a little bit, because it has a regulated, which are remarkable. So reishi is probably my top go-to thing of all time when you look at benefits overall for health and well-being. So we've got reishi mushroom. Chaga is another medicinal mushroom that is very, very powerful at reducing stress in the body. Chaga is found in colder climes, so Scotland, Canada, you know, you're kind of that strip higher up where Scotland and Canada are on, Norway, Scandinavia, those kind of places are where chaga grows. And chaga grows generally on birch trees. And chaga is, yeah, it's remarkable for reducing stress. Again, it has so many other properties, lots and lots of studies going on showing its cancer supportive, its anti-cancer supportive properties in it. So that's an amazing thing. Fo tea, that's a Chinese herb, which is again an amazing adaptogen. So adaptogenic herbs mean they help you to adapt to change. They help your body to adapt to stress. What they kind of do is they draw a line under the body and they say, okay, this is where you're at, this is the stress state you're in, we're going to come in and we're going to support you in that space. It's kind of like we're going to hold you where you're at. And from that space, you're not going to fall back down, you're going to stay in that space, and then you can just gently move up when you're ready. But we're going to hold you. So they've got that great holding ability. They feed the adrenals. So caffeine, things like that, if you're in a stress state, worst things you could have, because it's like whipping a tired horse to keep it going. But things like your chaga, your reishi, your fo tea, all the things I'm talking about in this section, all feed the adrenals. So they energize your body by supporting you, so by nurturing you, which is such a lovely thing, isn't it? To energize by nurturing. That's really the space we want to be in, isn't it? Energy through nurturing. That's where I want to be anyway. Licorice root, another great one for stress. Ashwagandha, maca, a Peruvian root vegetable, a bit like potato. And maca is an amazing adaptogen. Maca works on the endocrine system. It's a bit like the post office general, and it comes in and it just creates order in your endocrine system. So your endocrine system is what controls your mood. It controls your metabolism, your sleep, your thirst, your hunger, your hormones. So it's got a huge amount of responsibility, the endocrine system, and the adrenals are part of that. And the adrenals are the part of your body, as I said, that release cortisol. So they are the thing that are most affected by stress. And all these things support the adrenals and the endocrine system in general, like maca. So that's a really good thing to have in there. So we also have Celtic sea salt, or raw grey sea salt. This is another really good one to support health and well-being. When we get stressed, what happens is our adrenals use up more salt. So when you're stressed, you need more salt. So a lot of people, when they get stressed, what they do is they start craving salty vegetables or craving chips, because chips are salt and fat. So that's really supportive for that stress state. So obviously you don't want to necessarily go for chips and things like that every time you're stressed. So if I get that craving for chips, obviously chips every once in a while is one thing, but chips on a regular basis is not what you want to have. But what I go to is avocado with some raw grey sea salt, because then I'm getting the fat and I'm getting the salt. And that quite often is a really perfect combination for me. Chamomile, beautiful thing, chamomile. Also pineapple weed, which is growing at the moment. You can find it on paths quite often. For those of you who've been on my foraging courses, you know about pineapple weed. Pineapple weed is a sister herb to chamomile, and it has similar properties of calming and bringing that peace. So that's a really lovely thing. Lavender, an amazing thing. You can just smell lavender and it makes you go, ah. So there are some amazing essential oils that we can start to use and tune into that are really supportive and helpful for our stress, reducing that stress in our body. Ginger is another amazing one, passion flower, and valerian. Those are just a few of them. Obviously, there are lots and lots of different things that we can use, but these are some of my favorite ones. And you're probably thinking, yeah, how do I use those? Some of those I've never even heard of. So how can I start incorporating those things into my life, into my diet? The other one that's very good for stress is obviously CBD. That's an amazing thing to help reduce stress and panic and anxiety and depression in the body. So I've got a few different products which I'm going to put links up to, which are really helpful for reducing stress. My CBD hot chocolate is brilliant. I've had amazing testimonials coming back from people who've used that to help reduce stress, and it's got CBD, but it's also got reishi mushroom, it's got chaga mushroom in it as well. So you've got a few of those things that we were talking about in there to help reduce stress and help you to feel calm and relaxed. So that's a really nice thing. Also, I've got something called longevity, which is a coffee alternative that's got ashwagandha, it's got faux tea, it's got reishi and chaga, it's got something called gynosema. So all of those are adaptogenic herbs that give you energy but support you through stress, but they're more of an uplifting thing. The CBD chocolate is more calming and relaxing, whereas the longevity is more uplifting and a coffee replacement. So those are a couple of things. I've also just created a really lovely calming tea. It's not on my website yet, but if anyone wants some, you can message me, which is chamomile, it's got lavender, it's got rose, it's got hibiscus, it's got lemon balm. Lemon balm's another amazing one to calm and relax the system. So those are a few suggestions for that. Another thing that's really good nutritionally to help support the body through stress is vitamin C. Now, we're going to talk about vitamin C in a minute, but vitamin C specifically when it comes to stress. When you're stressed, what happens is you use up your reserves of vitamin C quicker. And vitamin C is something that doesn't get stored in your body for a long time. It gets used up because it's water soluble. So it's something you have to have on a regular basis. You can't rely on like a backlog of it. So making sure that you're having vitamin C on a regular basis by having raw fruit and vegetables, eating a cross section of nutrients is really good. And what I do starting, about now or whenever I'm stressed, but kids are going back to school soon, so immune systems are going to be compromised. The weather is starting to change, so these are all things that turn the immune system. So adding more vitamin C to your diet at this point of time is a really good thing. And I've got a lovely vitamin C mix, which is I make from whole plants. So it's got camu, acerola cherry, complete brain blank there. Camu, acerola cherry, lemon peel, rose hip, that's the one I was missing, and it's a really beautiful thing to have. Oh, amla as well, with natural sources of vitamin C, so not synthetic, so much easier for your body to uptake, which is what we want, the natural ways to get it into our system on a regular basis. So those are all really lovely. So those are a few things to help support you through stress. Someone's just said they're drinking the CBD hot chocolate now and it makes them feel very relaxed and sleepy. So that's great. Thank you for sharing that. So the next thing when it comes to living our best life is making sure that we've got a strong immune system, that our immune system is working properly, that it's working well, that it's really flourishing. And the best way to do that, we're going to talk about right now. Let me just put these links into the comments for you guys on there. So supporting our immune system, as I said, the weather's changing now. So it's really important that we look at adding things in to support our immune system. I don't know if any of you have noticed, like hardly anyone's had colds over the last few months because there hasn't been that interaction with people, and we've had lovely sunny weather, which is great. So we're all optimizing our vitamin D, because one of the key things when it comes to a healthy immune system is good levels of vitamin D. And in this country, generally 8 to 9 months of the year, we do not get enough vitamin D. And vitamin D is essential for 900 functions in your body. So when you're not getting that vitamin D, you are going to be compromising your immune system. So I recommend that people supplement vitamin D. I would start supplementing it about now as the sun starts to diminish. You should have a good stock, but you want to keep that at a good level. On my website are some great vitamin D drops that you can take. They're vegan ones. It's D3 with K2. That's the best way to have it. And I would generally recommend that women take 4,000 IUD a day, men 6,000 IUD as a maintenance dose. So if you've been out in the sun a lot over these last few months, then that will be great. If you struggle from a low immune system, you might need to do a month high dosing it. So 10,000 for women or 12,000 for men IUD a day for a month, then dropping down to 4,000 or 6,000. And it doesn't matter if you take too much vitamin D, that's not a problem. It's better to have good healthy levels of vitamin D, especially coming into the change of the season, so that you can keep supported and healthy and well. So hopefully that all makes sense to you. Now, another key part to keeping a healthy immune system we've just talked about is reducing stress. Stress has a big impact on our immune system, stress and fear. So this is really, really important that we address this and we reduce the stress. That's why I put stress first. So we look at these points and find ways that we can reduce our stress so that our immune system can really function properly. So as I said, vitamin C, really, really key for the immune system. Fresh fruit and vegetables, essential to have on a regular basis, not relying on that orange juice you had last week. That's not going to be enough for your vitamin C levels. And in fact, oranges are really not the best source of vitamin C. They do have vitamin C, but they're not the best source of vitamin C to have. Rose hips are a great source of vitamin C. You can go out and get them. If you are foraging for them, make sure that you don't eat the center hairy bit, because that will make your throat go all scratchy and itchy. Blackberries, really good source of vitamin C, and they're all about right now. So go and collect blackberries. I've been collecting them and sticking them in the freezer so that I've got them through the winter months. Another amazing thing to really support the immune system are elderberries. Again, it's something you can go out and forage for now. Little small side note of caution: if you are foraging for anything, please do cross-reference and make sure that you are collecting the right thing. Really important that you do that. Great books out there for foraging. You can send me a message with pictures. Food for Free by Richard Mabey is brilliant. There's apps now you can get, like Picture This, that identify things. So that's my little point of caution. Always cross-reference and make sure you're picking the right thing. But as I said, elderberries are a great support for the immune system. There have been many, many studies on elderberries showing their ability to reduce the symptoms of flu in the body and their ability to boost the immune system and keep you healthy. So what I like to do about this time of year is collect my elderberries and I make fire cider with them. There's a recipe for fire cider in my book, Superfoods and How to Use Them, which is that one up there. I also make fire cider, which I sell. I've just got a new batch that's ready. That's on my website. I will put links to all these things afterwards as well. But making your own is great fun. Really, really good thing to do. I know a lot of you are already making fire cider because you've been to past workshops with me and know all about the joys of fire cider, but some of you don't. So do ask me if you want to know more about it. But it's an amazing, basically it's an apple cider vinegar with loads of good stuff thrown in. You leave it for 6 weeks to decant, then you strain it and you start drinking that daily. You can use it as salad dressing. You can vary the recipe depending on what you've got, but generally I put elderberries, rose hips, haw-berries, garlic, ginger, turmeric, black pepper, cinnamon, cloves, chili, lemons, I think that's about, oh, and reishi mushroom. I think that's about it. So an amazing, amazing medicine to have. And you can mix it with honey, raw local honey if you have honey. You can mix it with olive oil and a little bit of coconut sugar as a salad dressing. You can drink it neat. You can put it with a little bit of hot water and lemon. All of them are great ways to do it. And a tablespoon of that a day will keep everything away. It's also really good for balancing the gut, because a really big part of having a healthy immune system is supporting the gut. Now that is a massive subject which I don't have time to go into today, but I've got a 4-week course on how to heal the gut on my website. So if anyone's interested in that, let me know. And on my mentorship or my one-to-ones, we look at the gut in a lot of detail because it is so important to get the gut working properly. It's the cornerstone for everything, really. Okay, so other ways you can use elderberries, you can make a tincture. To make a tincture, what you would do is you would get alcohol, and you would 40% alcohol, and you would mix the elderberries with the alcohol, leave it again for 6 weeks, then strain it and bottle it up, and then you've got amazing medicine that you can take a pipette of every day or as and when you need it. The other thing I like to do is collect elderberries and freeze them or dry them so that I've got a store through the winter so I can make fresh teas with them. Teas are one of the easiest ways to start utilizing things because you don't have to worry about how long it's been or straining things or any other things like that. Just stick them in the freezer, and a handful of elderberries in a cup of hot water, leave it to steep for 10 minutes, and you've got an amazing medicine. You can add things like cinnamon, ginger, turmeric if you want to make it even more of a powerful thing. Star anise is another really amazing natural support for the immune system. In fact, back in whenever it was, 2005 I think it was, or 2006, when bird flu came out, Tamiflu was the solution to that bird flu, and it was created based on star anise. And I remember when that came out, all the supermarkets, all the shelves of star anise were cleared out. So star anise is something I've always got in stock in my cupboards to use through the winter, to use in my different tinctures and my fire cider and all these different medicines to keep us healthy. Because for me, that's the key, staying as healthy as I can so I don't get sick. But sometimes we all get sick, but if you've got the medicines and your immune system's boosted, what happens is you get sick, but you get over it quickly, which is the key. So, garlic is the next really incredible immune support. You can have garlic in lots of different ways. I really don't know where I'd be without garlic in my life. Garlic is one of those real saviors for my health and well-being. And I found it so beneficial, so useful to have, because it has such a powerful ability to support the body. It's been shown to have 39 different antibiotic strains, so it's huge, you know, absolutely massive, its ability to help the body. So this is a really, really important thing to bear in mind. And as I said, you can have garlic in lots of different ways. So many old wives' remedies are based on garlic, and you can eat it raw. When it's in its raw state, that's when it's got its most active medicine. Another thing that you can do is you can chop it up, leave it for 10 minutes, and then what happens is the allicin, which is the active component, activates. and comes out, and then you can use it from there. So that's a really good way to be able to use it as well. So chopping it up, allowing that allicin to activate, and then you can cook with it, but the antibiotic medicine is still there, or a lot of it. Adding it to honey, raw local honey, and you put garlic in with a little bit of cinnamon. Beautiful medicine to have. You leave it to infuse for 48 hours and then you start eating it. Really, really powerful. Or you can take something like this. This is a great spray. This is an allicin spray. So this is the active one of the active components of garlic, and you can spray it and you're getting that amazing goodness in. The other thing you can have is aged garlic extract. It's another great way that you can have garlic. Or you can just chop it up and make pestos with it, put it in hummus, you know, have it in your food to get the goodness out of it. So those are a few different ways that you can work with garlic to support you. Another thing that is so important when it comes to supporting the immune system, when we talked about this before, is this one again, reishi mushroom. So reishi mushroom is an immune modulator. So what this means is it regulates the immune system. So basically it goes into the body, and this is just my vision of it. This is how I like to view it. And it goes in and it's like the general in the army, and it goes, okay, you guys are working too hard. You need to switch off. You guys aren't working enough. You need to focus on this. So it kind of creates that order and that regulation out of chaos, because a lot of people have overactive immune systems, and this can be a problem. Some people have underactive. Some people's immune systems are working on just parasites or food intolerances, so they're not dealing with the deeper issues, because we have different levels of immunity. It's quite complicated, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but basically the reishi helps to regulate the different levels of the immune system, so all of it is able to function properly. So that's a really good thing to have on a regular basis. So those are a few ways that you can start to work on your immune system. Obviously, it's a massive subject, and it's very personal as well to an individual about what's going on in your body. So if you did want to look at it deeper as to what's happening individually, then you can book a call with me for my one-to-ones or my mentorship program, which starts in a couple of weeks. So if anyone does want to book a call to see if the mentorship program is the right thing, I've got some slots available. I think I've got 3 slots available tomorrow or Friday. So book in a call with me to see if it's the right thing, and we can chat more about it there. Okay, so the next thing that can be really debilitating to the body and blocking us from living the life that we want to live is pain. Who here has suffered from bad pain in their body before? Because if you've got that pain in your body, it really blocks your mind, it blocks your ability to think, it really stops you from being able to function. Pain can be a really terrible thing, and people suffer with pain in different ways. You know, sometimes it can be just a temporary pain, like a toothache or back pain because you've done too much exercise, or you've lifted your grandchild, or whatever it may be. Or it could be that pain that is that chronic pain that's always there, that's just lingering and constant. Someone said back pain from childbirth. Yeah, that's a big one. I think for women, when you've gone through childbirth, it really can create, it can throw your alignment out. One of the things I really recommend for people is cranial sacral for mothers who have given birth shortly after, to help to realign the body. It's really important. You know, the pelvis can twist, and also then obviously doing things like yoga and core exercises to strengthen that area, because it can become very weak from childbirth. But as I said, we can have that temporary pain that's fleeting, or we can have that chronic pain. And finding solutions to this is so important, because when you're in pain, you can't think properly, your immune system gets lowered, you've got higher stress levels, your cortisol levels go up. So all of these things are impacting your well-being. So what can we do about pain? Well, a lot of painkillers have their own myriad of problems that go with it. They may take the pain away, but what are they doing to your liver and your kidneys? Well, they're messing them up quite a lot. And obviously it depends on the amount you're taking. And if obviously you start taking opioids, then you've got the possible addiction. I used to suffer from migraines when I was a teenager, and I was living in America, and they put me on diazepam. They put me on heavy muscle relaxants and painkillers, and I was on Demerol, all these things at the age of 15, really young age, and they just kept giving me pills, and I didn't know better, so I just kept taking them. And what happened was my body became addicted to the pills, and it kept producing migraines because it wanted the pills. And I remember my father took me to a pain specialist in Harley Street after a couple of years, and the guy said to me, he sat down, he said, "You're addicted to painkillers, and your body's creating these migraines now for the painkillers." And I felt so upset and insulted that he was telling me that I was basically making them up, because I thought, I'm not making these up. They knocked me out for 3 days at a time. But on some level, I knew that that was the case, and it sunk in, and I listened on some level, and I started weaning myself off these things that I was highly addicted to without even knowing. And at that age, you know, my poor liver, thank goodness I've had the knowledge I have to help repair my liver and give it the love and support it needs, because, you know, it could have been really messed up from all of those painkillers that I was taking without knowing that I was damaging myself. So obviously being in pain doesn't help our healing. So we have to have solutions to what can help. And as I said, a lot of the pharmaceutical painkillers have a lot of negative side effects. So what can we turn to? Well, CBD is a great natural painkiller. So many people swear by it, and it's really, really worked very, very well for a lot of people. As I said, I've got my essential turmeric CBD drink and also my essential chocolate CBD. Now, for a lot of pain, it's linked to inflammation. So the turmeric one is a really good one because turmeric helps to reduce inflammation. So these are great products to help with pain and reducing that inflammation. Another thing that's very, very good and has been used for a very long time is meadowsweet. Now, meadowsweet contains salicylic acid, which is what aspirin is based on. Salicylic acid is in willow bark and meadowsweet, and these are natural forms of it that aspirin has been created from in a synthetic version. Now, the problem is when you take a synthetic version of something natural, you're taking it out of context, and when you take something out of context, you don't have all the other things that are naturally in that plant that help all the other aspects. So for example, meadowsweet has a really demulsive effect in the body. So what that means is it creates a soft almost like a gel-like lining around the gut and the throat, so that the aspirin isn't going to hurt the lining of the stomach. So this is a really important thing. Willow bark does the same thing, not as much as meadowsweet. Meadowsweet is much more mellow. And as I said earlier, for those of you just joining, if you are taking any medication, please cross-reference any natural remedies with a healthcare practitioner to make sure there are no contraindications. This is a really important thing, because with some of these, there are contraindications if you're on medication. So do always check that. Don't just jump on and take anything without checking if you are on medication. If you're not on medication, then it's fine. These things are all natural remedies and great and very helpful. Other things that can be really helpful for pain, as I said, turmeric, natural anti-inflammatory. So that a lot of pain is inflammation based. So this can be very supportive of reducing the inflammation so your body can heal better. Lavender, very good for soothing pain. Rosemary, if you've got achy muscles from working out or doing something like that, rosemary in your bath with Epsom salts, amazing to ease away the toxins, break down the lactic acid, and really help your muscles and your body to feel better. So that's a really great one. You can make a nice muscle rub with rosemary. You could put rosemary and CBD together and do that together. That would be a really beautiful one for the muscles. Cloves, another great painkiller. If you've got toothache, I always have a bottle of clove oil at home, so that if anyone gets toothache, you can put some clove oil on it because it numbs the pain. Turmeric paste in the mouth also has a great ability to do that as well. Another one for pain is feverfew. Feverfew has been shown to reduce headaches and help with pain and fevers as well. So a few nice natural solutions. Also, if you are breastfeeding or pregnant, please cross-reference these remedies with a healthcare practitioner, because some of them might not be suitable for you. If you are any of these things and you want to find other solutions that would work, just message me and I can always help you with that. If you do want a good source of oils, then doTERRA is beautiful. I have a link to my doTERRA, which I'll put in the Zoom chat box now, so you can check out lovely, beautiful essential oils through that. So the last thing that we're going to talk about before we come to do some question and answers is lack of energy. Now, as a mother of three, I've got 3 boys. You know, this is something that I am fully aware of, and we can't always have optimum energy. That's not realistic. And you know, I've just finished a few weeks ago breastfeeding my 3rd child. He's just turned 3, and he hasn't slept through the night until the last basically week and a half, 2 weeks. So I've now just had a few nights sleep through the night, which is revolutionary to my sense of energy and well-being. And we don't realize sometimes we're functioning at this like lower level and thinking it's where our norm is, and then it's not until we do something to change that we go, oh God, I was really running under par and I didn't even notice. So obviously that's something that was my choice and I couldn't do anything about that, and I chose to do it in that way. I chose to co-sleep and I chose to breastfeed as long as I did. So that was just my situation, and that's fine. But I feel great. It feels great to be alive again, full of energy. But there are things that we can do to support natural energy levels. And as I said, all the things we've talked about already before here will have an effect on your energy. So stress will have an effect on your energy, your low immune system, pain, all of these things will affect your energy levels. So I've kind of done them in order. So if you can work on all those things, your energy should start to increase. But there are things, the extra support that you can give your body. As I said, if you are, especially if you're breastfeeding or pregnant, the energy boosting things generally are no-nos, because stimulants on your body will go through to your children, to your child, if you're breastfeeding or you're pregnant. So always be careful with this if that is your state. Some of them are okay. But again, you can always consult me if that is something that you're interested in knowing more about. One of the top ways to increase your energy levels, and this is safe for everyone, is drink more water. Dehydration reduces our energy in our body. Now, if you add raw grey sea salt or Celtic salt and some lemon to your water, this is going to energize your body even more. You're creating with the salt this electricity, you're kind of electrifying the body, the cells, through the salt in the water. And lemon is very alkalizing, and also all of the citrus things, when you smell them, they energize and uplift the being. So these are safe to do. Smelling lemon, drinking lemon, you know, having that lemon scent burning on a diffuser really helps to uplift and energize. So that's a great easy way. Water, salt and lemon to energize. Maca. Maca is a Peruvian root vegetable. And I talked about maca earlier as an adaptogen to help you deal with stress, and maca is amazing to really energize you. 3 or 4 o'clock slump, a maca in a smoothie, or a macchiato. Oh God, I love a macchiato. Teaspoon of maca, teaspoon of cinnamon or half a teaspoon of cinnamon, heat it up with plant milk and drink it, and you've got like a multi-Horlicks type drink, but healthy and energizing. You can stick maca in a smoothie. It comes in a powder, really easy to use, and really gives you a boost. As I mentioned before, it works on your hormonal system, the endocrine system. So really good thing to have. As I mentioned before, my longevity drink, really great natural energizer for the body. Exercise releases these endorphins that really helps again to energize and uplift you. So that's a really good one. B12, really, really important. A lot of people whose energy starts to go low are deficient in B12, and you don't have to just be vegan to have low B12. It's been shown that as we get older, what happens is our gut bacteria, our gut doesn't absorb nutrients so well, so we don't absorb the B12 as well. The other thing with B12 is B12 is a bacteria that's found in the soil. And what I feel is going on is that B12 is being eradicated from the soil or massively reduced because of the amount of pesticides and herbicides that are being used in conventional farming. So this is affecting, obviously, the bacteria in the soil. And therefore, what happens with B12 is the animals eat the grass, which has the soil on it, which has the B12, which goes into the animals, and then the animals are consumed, and then the B12 is consumed in that way. So obviously, if it's not in the soil, the animal's not going to be getting it, and then the humans aren't going to be getting it. And obviously, if you're not eating those animals anyway, you're not going to be getting the B12. There have been studies showing that things like spirulina have small amounts of B12, and some people say you can get adequate amounts of B12 through eating things like that. From my research, it's not very bioavailable, the B12 that's in that. It's a kind of different form. So I personally wouldn't rely on that. I would get a good B12 supplement, and there's a great liquid one on my website that you can check out. So B12, classic symptoms of feeling tired, low in energy, kind of brain fog, tingling in the hands and feet, and just that tiredness in the muscles. So if you're feeling any of those things, get on the B12 and supplement that for a bit and see if it makes any difference. And that's a really great way to tell it. Obviously, you can go to your doctor and get your blood tested, and they can check your levels of B12. Vitamin D also, low energy is linked to that. So that's another one that you can check with your doctor, or just start supplementing it and see how you feel. Last one, cacao. Cacao really helps support energy. Cacao is also a great source of magnesium, which is a really important nutrient for our body. Sometimes we're lacking energy because we're lacking nutrients. So making sure that you're eating that cross section of nutrients is really key to get those nutrients into your body so that you know you're supported. One of the things that I like to do is have my super green mix on a regular basis. Every day it goes in the smoothie. Pardon me, for me and my family, because I know we're getting those micronutrients in food form in our diet, as well as eating a good diet, but we're getting that. So that's really helpful and supportive. So we're going to come to question and answers in a second, but before we do, I just wanted to mention, I've mentioned it briefly through the call, but I start in 2 weeks my new mentorship group. This is going to be the 4th round of it, which is great. It's been running now for a year, which is really exciting. And I've had some amazing people come on it, and brilliant transformations happen within those people. And the mentorship program is really a journey over 12 weeks where we look at meditation, we look at healing, we look at, you have a one-to-one with me as part of it. We really look in depth about what's going on in your life, in your health and your well-being. And we work with mudras and mantras and all of these amazing things. We look at deeper issues of what's blocking you from living this full life of abundance. And I support you through this. I put the link up on the Zoom, which tells you more about it. And if you would like to book a free call with me, a 15-minute call to find out more about it, then please do. Anna's just said, mentorship program is brilliant. Thank you. Anna's just finished the last round, which finished last month. There's a group program and there's also one-to-one mentorship program. They're both the same, but it's either one-to-one with me or within a small group. And they're not big groups. So if it's something that you feel is calling to you or you want to know more about, have a look at the website link that I've just put in the Zoom, and I'll put it on the Facebook afterwards as well, and book that call and we can chat about it and see if it's right. No pressure from me. I'm not a hard seller, but if it does call to you, then we start on September the 7th. So it's going to be a really, really good program, and you can pay in installments. I make it as affordable and as easy as possible for everyone so that everyone can really benefit from this. So I've also got online courses. If anyone's interested, then you can buy a bundle of my online courses, 8 of them, for £150 using the code LOVE instead of £982. If you do the mentorship program, you get them as a bonus, free. Yvette's just said, booked on the next one and really looking forward to it. I can't wait to have you on it either. So have a look at that. Lots of other amazing products that I make. I make most of the things myself, and I put lots of love and care into them. I've got my books as well, Superfoods and How to Use Them and Divine Desserts, on there. So lots of great tools and resources that you can tap into if you want it. Someone's just asked a question: when's the best time of day to drink your CBD hot chocolate? I drink it throughout the day. Some people find it very relaxing and calming, so have it at nighttime. If you're very sensitive to cacao, nighttime obviously wouldn't be so good because the cacao's in it. You could always get the CBD turmeric drink because that's not got cacao in, so that would be more calming and soothing to have. It depends on your body really as to when the best time to have it is, but a lot of people have it in the evening and find it very, very calming and soothing and relaxing. So it just depends how you are with that cacao element. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up to questions now. If anyone has a question, you can either type it into the chat box, or if you're on Zoom, you can unmute yourself and ask away. I know there's been quite a lot that we have covered. It's been quite a quick fire thing. Someone said, what do you recommend to help with Crohn's? Great question. So really, when it comes to Crohn's, it's about getting the gut in as good a space as possible. So it's about adding in the good bacteria to the gut, making sure the bad bacteria is at bay, having things to really soothe the gut lining and keep the inflammation down. So aloe vera, turmeric. Again, it's important to kind of look at the individual and what's going on as to what the best things are specifically for that person. But generally, I'd say adding in aloe vera. You know, a lot of studies have showed that a more plant-based diet is very beneficial to Crohn's, reducing the animal fats, reducing wheat or cutting out gluten is really good. Also cutting out dairy. Dairy has been shown to have massive effects potentially on people with Crohn's. So looking at those areas would be really good. Someone's just said, I have my CBD hot chocolate in my smoothie in the morning. Yeah, it's great to put in smoothie. You can have it cold or you can have it hot. Either way is absolutely fine. If anyone wants to unmute themselves and ask the question, then they can, or type it in. And if anyone has any questions about the mentorship they want to ask on here, then they can, or obviously you can book the free call. I do also do the one-to-one sessions that aren't mentorship, just a one-off, which is a great way to begin working with me as well. Any more questions?
Hi, Juliette. I was just going to ask, with like reishi mushrooms and that kind of thing, if you actually cook them, does it change the properties of it, or are they still just as good for you, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, great question. So basically what's really important when it comes to the reishi mushroom is that you do actually cook them. It's you have to, well, it depends. So basically, if you have reishi that has been heat extracted, so for example, in my medicinal mushroom mix, I've got reishi, chaga, and lots of 7 other mushrooms in there that have all been heat extracted. So you can use the powder cold or hot. You don't have to heat it. If you have reishi that hasn't been heat extracted, then like if you had a big lump like this, or you had some other reishi, you would need to cook it. So the heat or the alcohol extracts the medicinal properties from that mushroom. So it actually creates the benefit through doing it. You can't have it without it, as I said, unless it's been heat or alcohol extracted already. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. And then I was just thinking, like with Charlie and inflammation, so turmeric would be a good sort of thing for him?
Yeah, turmeric is amazing. It's a really good thing. I just need to cross-reference against medication, which I'll do.
Yeah.
But turmeric should be really good and effective at reducing that inflammation in the body. It's such a powerful herb to have. for that specific action. And obviously ginger's really good, natural anti-inflammatory. Other things like aloe, again, are good natural anti-inflammatories, but really the turmeric is one of the best.
And then is it, so I'm like hogging it now, aren't
I?
I?
No,
But
don't worry.
sorry, but is it better to have turmeric in its fresh like root form, or is the powdered stuff okay?
Powder stuff's okay. What I would recommend though is that you make sure it's organic, the turmeric you buy, because
Okay.
what has been shown is that turmeric absorbs a metal from the ground. So when it's grown non-organically in India and Sri Lanka, some of the pesticides and herbicides that we used had lead in. This is in days gone by. They shouldn't have it in now, but the regulation isn't quite as hot as it is over here in some areas. So non-organic turmeric potentially could have that lead in, whereas organic can't. Also, what they tend to do with turmeric is curcumin is the active component within turmeric, and that is quite often extracted. And what has been found to happen is that they extract the curcumin, mash the rest of it up and sell it as turmeric powder in the shops. So you're missing one of the main active components. Now there's loads of other active components within turmeric that are beneficial. It's that synergy, and this is why it's so important to have whole plant medicine with whatever it is, whether it's CBD, whether it's turmeric, whether it's vanilla, whatever, because nature is super clever. And within the turmeric, there are loads of different, there are terpenes, there are different components that all work together to have the most beneficial effect. So you can definitely use the root, make lovely smoothies with the root, or other things like that. And when you're using turmeric, one of the things that works really well is if you add fat and black pepper. You don't have to, but black pepper amplifies the nutrients within, like the absorption of the nutrients. And that works, black pepper works in that way with lots of different foods, not just, in fact, it works with all foods. It activates the nutrients, the absorption of the nutrients in the body. And it's been shown that if you mix the turmeric then with fat, so a little bit of coconut oil, for example, that again aids the body absorbing the benefit of it. So that kind of combination. So what you can do, obviously, is you could add, if you were making a turmeric CBD drink, for example, you could add plant milk, which has fat in it, or you could add a tiny bit of coconut oil to it, just like a little bit. You don't need a lot. And the turmeric CBD drink has black pepper and it has saffron, it has cinnamon all already in there. So it's just small amounts to add to it.
Okay, cool.
Any other questions? Someone's just said loads of great advice. Thank you, Juliette. My pleasure. Thank you guys for being on here. I find it difficult to find plant milks that aren't unsweetened. Yeah, that can be really tricky. There's a few really good ones. So there's some hemp milks that aren't sweetened. You can also make your own that aren't sweetened, or you can sweeten them with dates. Eco Mill is a very good one. I don't think that's sweetened, or you can get a sweetened or unsweetened version. Cocoa do an unsweetened coconut milk that you can get. So there are ones out there. You just have to look for the unsweetened as opposed to the sweetened version of them, or find ones that are sweetened with natural sources as opposed to other things. Someone said, I've been using CBD oil for a month. How long does it take to show results? I'm sure it's individual. Great question. It is a really individual thing, and it depends on the CBD that you're taking. That has a massive impact on how you'll see results, because there are different strains of plants. There are different qualities of CBD. There's different dosages, strengths of CBD. So all of those things play a part. You should see a result quite quickly when you're taking it, but it is really important that you get a good one. I've got a really lovely one that a friend makes on my website. It's called Sweet Pink CBD, and it's on my website. You can get it from there, and that's a really beautiful one that's so effective. Or obviously having the turmeric CBD drink or the chocolate CBD drink, those I found a lot of people get such great results because of the combination of things that are in those drinks, because you've got the mushrooms and you've got macuna, you've got these things that are compiled to really allow it to work and be absorbed for the best in the body. So that's really the kind of important thing is obviously whole plant is really important, but it's about what it's mixed with, it's about how it works. So there's lots of different ways really with CBD, and sometimes you need to take a higher dose. So check out the one on my website, because that is really high quality, a beautiful oil, and the woman who makes it, the most of the money that she gets from it goes to support her child who has epilepsy. So really beautiful. So that's on my website, Sweet Pink CBD oil. So check that out, and you might want to try the CBD hot chocolate or turmeric drink and see how that works with you, because I've had so many brilliant feedback and quick results with that. So obviously it depends what you're taking it for as well, but hopefully that helps answer your question. Okay, any last questions before we finish? Okay, well, thank you all so much for joining me this evening. I will post a link on Facebook for the different products and a link to the mentorship. Obviously, I've posted it already onto the Zoom. So if anyone does want to book a call with me about the mentorship, then do check that out. It's a really lovely program, and I would love to have you guys on it. I know a few of you are already on it, which is great. And I'm looking forward to starting work with you. If you've got any questions that have come up from the session today, then do message me, and have a lovely evening and lots of love. And I will be doing another session soon in the next week or two on supporting the immune system more, because I'm really conscious that kids are going back to school and no one has had that interaction with people. You know, we've all been limited on our interaction, and so people's immune systems are not going to be used to it. And when the change of season happens, everyone gets coughs and colds naturally, and it's all just going to be labelled as something else, and that fear and stress is going to be impacting on people. So I really want to support people through this transition of school and weather with as many healthy tips as I can. Loads of free videos on my YouTube. If you want to check that out, then please do. And thank you again for joining me, and lots of love, and I will see you all soon.